It's time to get common sense back and to look historically about where people are being murdered in record rates, and don't repeat that like the Democrats are trying to do. Let's do common sense things that will save lives.
Louie is pissed off. That's United States Representative Louie Gohmert. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but that's irrelevant. He's a Republican from Texas, and they were having the congressional hearings on gun legislation. And he went on a tirade, but everything he said was the truth. And the Democrats did not like it. They didn't like it at all, but this is part of what he
What are
said.
you here for? We must be here for the gunman is an outrage. How dare you? You think we don't have hearts? It's just that when we look at the things that you're doing and you're trying to do to America, we've seen the carnage. I mean, for heaven's sake, let's take example. Democrats control the major cities that have the worst murder rates.
And he's absolutely right. Everything that they are doing is causing more harm than good. Their gun legislation is garbage. All they want to do is target the NRA and gun manufacturers and American citizens who can legally own firearms. They don't care about the criminals running the streets with firearms, and they say that, oh, there's too many guns on the street. Criminals can get a gun any day, anywhere. Criminals are not going in gun stores and filling out applications and buying guns. It's all Democratic bullshit because they don't know how to fix the problem. So if they want to raise the gun buying age to 21, so be it. No big deal. But every policy they implement fails. Every Democratic run city in this country, or big cities I should say, have out of control gun violence. Chicago, New York, Philadelphia had another mass shooting last night, and the DA, Larry Krasner, is blaming the NRA gun lobbyists for it, not for his no prosecution policies, where he doesn't prosecute gun crimes because he says the law, it affects people of color a different way. So he pleads them down and lets them out, and they continue the same shit over and over again. It's an absolute destruction of our country by these liberal, bleeding hearts that all they want to do is, look what we're doing. We care for the minorities. We care for this group. We care for the illegals. They don't care for anybody but themselves. All they want is votes. And there's Louie again with a little more.
Your ideas have been shown to get people killed. Are you here for the murderers in Chicago, in Philadelphia, in these other major cities, because you're wanting to do nationally what is being done by Democrats in those big cities? We care about people. We care about their lives. And lives have been so trivialized. We care deeply. How dare you? How dare you? You arrogant people attributing murder to those of us that want to do things to stop it.
And again, he's right. They don't care about the lives lost. They don't care that there's shootings day in and day out in these Dem-run cities. All they care about is votes. And like I said in my last episode, Chuck Schumer in the U.S. Senate blocked a gun control bill because it did not say that parents or for instance, a parent is upset because of the violence in their city and no one's doing anything about it, or they go to school board meetings and they go off because they're trying to teach this gender shit in schools. He wants them to be called domestic terrorists, but the Republican senator wouldn't do it, so Schumer scrapped his bill. Their gun control legislation is nothing but trash. All it does is take away our rights to own firearms. And they'll all go on and say it's AR-15s are killing people. And again, they don't know the first thing about firearms. All they see is some mentally ill nitwit with a rifle shooting people. So automatically it's the gun's fault. And the rest of us suffer for it. This guy right here went off because he's right. He's absolutely right. And they just don't want to listen. They're not going to come together and pass common sense gun legislation because one side differs from the other. And the other, meaning the other side of the aisle, the Republicans, they want to do it the right way. They don't want to take the weapons out of law-abiding citizens. How about just like I said, raise the gun buying age to 21? But they want to ban high-capacity magazines for a handgun, for instance. Most of them have 12, some have 14, some have 17 rounds. That's not high capacity. That's what goes with the firearm. They're talking about 30-round clips, magazines for rifles they want to ban. That's trash too, because are you going to tell law enforcement that they can't have those mags in their rifles? So it's all the same thing. They don't know how to stop it. They never will stop it. But the Democrats running these big cities will blame everybody else but themselves for their bad policies and their do-nothing attitude when it comes to crime in their cities. And it all boils down to the defund the police movement, where they had less cops on the street and the crime rates just ticked up and ticked up. And now it's out of control. You will never stop gun violence, ever. But if you put some policies in place that let the police do their job the way they're supposed to do it, then maybe it will slow down a lot. Put more police on the streets. Put gun task forces on the streets. But they won't do that because it's not good for people of color, because they're going to target people of color. That is such bullshit. But they use that, again, to get votes when it's election time. Look, we care about your inner city. We care about the people who are struggling. No, they don't. All they care about is their own bullshit agenda, and that is take the rights away from the law-abiding citizen. They don't want us to be able to protect ourselves, protect our home, protect our family. But they want to have less police on the street to come and help us if we need them. And then what happens? Crime goes up, and we've seen it ever since this defund bullshit. The crime rates have skyrocketed, the shootings have gone up, and like Beetlejuice Lightfoot in Chicago, every single day there's a shooting. And just yesterday, another Chicago police officer was shot. He's currently undergoing treatment at a hospital, and that comes days after another Chicago police officer was shot during a traffic stop. Thank God neither one of them shootings were fatal. But how come they're not saying it's the guns when the police get shot? You never hear it's the guns when a police officer gets shot. It's only the guns when there's some psycho with a firearm goes and shoots into a crowd or shoots up a school or a mall or a church. That's the only time these Democratic buffoons will say it's the guns. The guns are the problem. But when a police officer gets shot, the gun's not the problem. It's the person that shot the What the fuck are you talking about? That's my point, and that's Louie's point. They make no sense. Their policies are trash. Yeah, it needs to stop. Unfortunately, it never will. But the gun laws that they want to pass are doing nothing but punishing the law abiding Americans. They're taking away our rights. That's what they're all about. That's what Biden's about. He's been about that his whole career, and it will never change until the day he's gone. And that's it. I'm tired of hearing about this shit. It's about time that somebody went off. But unfortunately, because the House is controlled by Pelosi, she was probably mixing a martini when he was talking. It's never going to change. They're not going to listen to reason. They're going to do it all for themselves and all for the people who walk in the voting machines without IDs, because that's what they want. Illegals, homeless people. This country has so many problems. So many problems. But all they care about is taking away the rights of the hardworking people who live in this country. People need to open their eyes and see that these buffoons are just that. They're buffoons, and they all need to go. And that's my rant. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell. Share my videos. Again, like my video, the YouTube algorithm, I always say the algorithm. The YouTube algorithm will pick it up and hopefully spread my videos to more people. I hope everybody's healthy and safe, and have a great week.